Episode 7, Ask Woodford. We are back. The three amigos, Christian, Woodford, Sweet Ballzillo, that laugher here at there, and Big Dirk. We're all here. We're ready to chat. Woody's got his tattoo. It's looking good. I don't know if it's done yet, but we'll find out. Not just yet. Guys,
Very
remember
nice.
at the start, if you want to listen to this, you want to continue to learn more, like it on Spotify, Ask Woodford, follow us, Woodford SSC on Instagram, or go onto YouTube on Christian Woodford, and just keep fucking learning. Apologies, that's the last word from me. I promise. Okay, man, how are we? Woody has that tattoo.
Yeah, really good. Really good. I didn't go today. I was supposed to go today, but I could be fucked, so.
What's it like? What's the pain like?
It hurts.
Yeah? What was it? This is a serious question. Which one hurt the most?
The hand.
Hand.
You got the hand.
The hand hurts.
Yeah, Mo.
Yeah, so neck hurts, but hand hurts. It's just terrible both places. I really don't like the pain. It's terrible. Shit out. So I use numbing cream, and the numbing cream only lasts so long before it starts hurting again. So they say beauty is pain, I think they say.
Yeah, something like that.
You know,
So, yeah.
I remember the first time you got your neck tattoo. This was like a while ago, and I remember we were glad wrapping your neck, and I think we did it too tight that Woody was nearly suffocating.
Yeah, it was fucked.
That he was actually sitting there like me and Max were there, and he was actually struggling to breathe. And I thought, fuck, this is not good.
Yeah, fuck.
But it looks good. How long left?
It's very nice.
I think I've got. Well, I only go for an hour and a half each time, not even. So fuck, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Probably two sessions. Two
Nice.
sessions. So yeah,
That's all right.
I'll just get it done. I'd rather extend it out than just come in and do like 3 hours. Because actually, what happens is, if you think about it, when you're getting it done, you're releasing adrenaline because your body's under stress. So your flight or fight, sympathetic nervous system. So after a while, if you're going for long periods of time, the next day you actually quite run down, fatigued and sick. It's nervous.
No shit. So that's why. Look at that.
actually
Bringing
makes-
science. That
that
actually makes a lot of sense. Fuck.
So yeah, I remember the first tattoo I got in America was 9.5
Miami?
hours. Was in Miami, 9.5 hours. I sat there, and I remember the next 2 days I was fucked, like just neural fatigue. Didn't want to do anything. Slept. I was just fucked. 9.5 hours.
Also because Anita
time?
probably gave you a lot of shit too.
Yeah, she did. So yeah, that was my first one. So
Do you want to explain how Anita found out though? Because you were there. You were in Miami. How did she find out?
she was going through my Facebook and saw that I liked this unfamous Miami's post, and it was me because they was videoing, and they were it was in a brand new studio. And then she's like, "Oh, there's Christian." So they was asking me about it, and yeah, my first real big tattoo. So yeah, it was on my arm, and yeah, Mum was snooping and found out. It was just funny because I didn't tell her, and then she's like, "Did you get a tattoo?" I'm like, "No."
Well,
No.
It's real sort of, don't let your mum follow you on Facebook because
Correct,
shit
yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah.
Look, it's what it is.
Yeah,
what was the
don't-
time of when Facebook probably was around, people didn't realize that people can find shit out about you.
Oh, 100%, yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
now, you can fucking search it up. You can go on Facebook, you can go on Instagram. Whereas back then it was probably like, oh, no one will know this. And then all of a sudden it's on Facebook.
Or if you like it and then everyone can see likes, you're like, oh fuck,
yeah, no shit.
I'm in some
Oops.
shit here.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
Ballzillo, how are you?
Good. Had a good. I was telling Donnie off camera. Had a good weekend, and I thought it'd carry us
What's
for 10
that
minutes.
mean? What's that mean? What's that fucking
I
giggle
thought it'd
mean?
carry us for 10 minutes, but it's probably going to be a 2-minute story. So Friday I went to it was like an orchestra sort of thing, and fans of progressive rock and Pink Floyd will know it's this album called Dark Side of the Moon, and they did like an orchestra thing and just a band sort of thing, just to have the 50th anniversary of the album. So we did. A girl from MSC, Elise, and then one of my best mates from school, Chris. So that was really fun. And then and I was telling Donnie as well. So I've never seen Lord of the Rings, ever, never, ever.
How many are there?
There's 3,
Oh,
but
fuck, yeah,
3
so
movies, but fucking 7, 8 books or something like that.
Nice.
And so I hadn't seen it before. I watched it for the first time with Dids, and he's
Did
one
he?
of my friends. Yeah,
Did he? Yeah.
So
he's one of your friends. Is that how you're going to introduce him on this podcast? He's one of your friends, Mr. Vasu. That's all he gets. He's one of your friends.
When I first time meeting a couple of Dids' wife Victoria, her friends, and I said to one of them, I'm like, yeah, hi, I'm Didier's friend. So real sort of, I'm only known as that, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you are.
Yeah,
That's fair enough.
But no, it was good though. So,
That's your category. You only did friend. That's it. It's the same here. You only did friend.
Yeah,
that's it.
But no, it was good though. I had a good weekend. And yeah, feeling good. So
Good.
Happy to be here.
Look,
As you can
love
see.
it. Last podcast was awesome. Just before we move on to actually topics, how did we find Adam Godser's podcast? Like, how did we find it, Wood? How did we
Pretty
find
good. Well, has it been out? Is it even out yet?
No, not yet. We'll get it out, but
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. He's like a quote book, so it was really good. He got a lot out of it, and he's just a guy who's just a really humble guy who literally started from the bottom, an Australian kid, and then he's made it to the highest level in pro sport in America. It's like incredible story. So
I think it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, he gives back to Gridiron Victoria as well. Like, there was some things on Insta where, like, he's actually going down to grassroots level, especially with yourself, and even, like, Woody gives back to everyone. He's
100%.
he loved being here. He was complimentary to all of us as well. Even, like, someone like myself, he was, like, shot me a message just saying thank you, like, just fucking gave me just...
he's thanked you. Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And like even with yourself, Woody, like, just all praise, all love.
He's a good guy. I could do it.
It's fucking great bloke.
I think it's just inspiring. Besides, like, your basic AFL, like your basic sports, that you can actually achieve something, right? But you got to fucking put in the work, right? Like, it's so scarce, but at the same time it can happen, right?
100%.
So it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah,
No, he did well. I
really
thought it was
enjoyed
sick. I thought it was a good podcast.
Awesome. Well, look, we're in March now. Athletes are about to go in season. Like, it's a wild time of the year. All the hard work from off season to pre-season to now in season is coming together. The biggest thing people don't understand is, what is the difference between off season? What's the difference between pre, and what's the difference between in? Because there is, right? Some things are similar, some things aren't. Like, what are your what are your thoughts on that?
We'll talk about what off pre versus in season.
Yeah.
Well, the programming needs to change depending on what type of season you're in, time of season. So if you're in the off season, you think about it. Off season, what's the goal of off season? It's to develop general qualities that you obviously just general qualities such as general strength, conditioning, mobility, all these general qualities, hypertrophy, correct. And just there's no training, no games, so you can really focus on the physical side of development in terms of improving at your sport. As we move on, I always like to think of it this way. So in the off-season starts high volume, low intensity. As you get close to season, you're going to go high intensity to low volume. So in terms of training stimulus specificity, it's going to get more specific compared to in the off-season where it's more about volumes, it's about lower intensity work, it's about building that base. And if you think about it this way, you could think of it like a pyramid. So the pyramid at the start, the biggest base is the off-season, the pyramid at the bottom. And as you go high at the peak, that's the highest intensity. So that's the strength, power, speed right at the top. So that's how you look at it. And if you can't build a house without a foundation. So that's your foundation in the off-season. And this is where people get it wrong. Athletes need to train all year round. But it's not a 6-week challenge of being an athlete. You need to train all year round. If not, you're actually detraining. And that's a big issue. So this is where off-season, and you've got certain periods. So your general prep, specific prep, competitive, and transitional. In the transitional period, that's where you can just do more recreational activity. You can take a time away from the gym. This is what we do, 4 to 6 weeks. Yep. Then you come back, and then you should be preparing all year round. And that's where you can start with your base level work. So what we do, how I believe in, is you start with just general qualities, and then as you get close to season, we're going to get more specific in terms of the physical qualities needed exposed to the sport. But you can't maximize those qualities until you got the general qualities. So I think it's important. Most people, you learn about how important general qualities, and everything we do, if you think about it, everything we do is GPP. So even the only true way of specific conditioning, regardless of what people say, is the actual sport.
Yes.
So everything we do, regardless, is just GPP.
Yes.
It's just laying foundation. So even though
there's GPP blocks and all that shit.
Yeah, but saying that though, there's going to be qualities and there's going to be exercises more specific to your sport. So example, right? You get more transference with a squat than a leg extension, or more transference with a sprint than you are, let's say, a fucking bicep curl or bench press. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's not. When I say it's specific, I mean it's going to have more transference. I don't mean specific in terms, because nothing in the gym we do is specific. This is where people get it wrong. It's just general preparation, general physical preparation. The only true way of SPP, sport-specific training, is the skill itself, where you got the muscle growth, motor pattern, timing coordination, and the metabolic pathway. Everything else is secondary. Okay, so if you can understand that, you're halfway there, because most people think that, okay, in the gym it's got to be sport-specific. Well, I put it this way. If you think about it, you do enough sport-specific training at training. So why the fuck would you want to do more at physical prep? Use physical prep to develop what we call maximal outputs, okay? And then integrate with the sport to get transference. So if you're always looking at this in terms of specificity and looking at replicating movements in the gym that replicate your sport, you're losing straight away because A, you're not developing physical quality. And the whole idea about a physical preparation is filling up the buckets we don't get from the sport. So what are the physical qualities we don't get from the sport or the sport doesn't do very well? And let's fill them up in training, physical prep. That's the idea. Okay, that should be the idea. All right? And if you're doing... if you load the skill in the gym, 2 issues. 1, you're not going to get any physical adaptation out of it. Number 2, you're loading what we call I'd say a refined motor pattern, right? Now, let's say, for example, you're in a skill like golf, cricket, fucking baseball, something like that, right? It's a very what I call it motor pattern. It's a very
Fine motor pattern.
Fine motor pattern, very good. Fine motor pattern. So if you're loading that and you're changing the motor pattern from it, you're going to become less efficient. This is why, yes, in terms of, you look at, I think his name was Yuri Verkhoshansky. He talked about dynamic correspondence and he gave a certain list, right? And one of his quotes is a real good quote. And he said, a lot of coaches talk about specificity. And he says, training a similar motor pattern to that of a skill, that's going to get good transference. But coaches take it to the extreme degree and they go over the top with it. And what they do is they do absurdity exercises that look like replicate the skill and, yeah, look specific. But in terms of training and physical adaptation, it does nothing. You're actually wasting your time because you're not developing anything. And I'm real big on this because of my background in motor control neuro. That drives everything. So if you're loading that, you're going to make yourself less efficient. But it makes absolute sense. Like when you look at most people who push this sport-specific training, the reason why they do that is 2 reasons. 1, they don't understand fundamental sports science principles, how to apply them. They don't understand the science behind their training. And number 2, they just look at a sport and say, well, wouldn't it make sense to load money?
Yeah,
but also to be different, because it's such a flooded industry, people think there's a secret to this. There's no secrets to it. It's just applying sports science principles in a practice sense and coaching the individual based on their needs. There's nothing fancy about it. It's being consistent, adhering to a program, and making sure that the session quality is high. But most people, what they want to think is they want to think there's a secret. Same as if we talk about fat loss, muscle gain, everyone's looking for a secret. There's just no secret. I've been doing this so long, and the more I do this,
the way they sell, right?
But that sells because you think about it, right? If I was to say this to you guys out there, right? For you to get results for strength, power, fat loss, muscle gain. If for you to get results and good results, you're going to have to train hard for years on end. You're going to have to do the fundamentals, the basics, my big 6. You're going to have to do that year round. You're going to add some sort of explosive movement in, and you're going to do that consistently with high level effort. You're going to recover properly, sleep properly, eat right, and you have to do that for a year to see anything. Well, most people are going to go, fuck that. But if I say to you, I have a secret training plan for 6 weeks and you're going to have all these great results and it's real gimmicky training, people are going to choose that because the shortcut. People would rather take a shortcut than actually do it the right way.
Yeah,
100%.
Seriously true. Right. And that's it. The industry is built on gimmicks because if you look at most the fitness industry and the conventions they have, look at the bullshit they sell. They sell all these new improved gimmicks. When you don't know gimmicks, you don't need to learn your tricks of your trade, just learn more of your trade. And the trade is this: basic barbell, dumbbell training, use strength training and learn fundamental motor patterns, my big 6, hinge, squat, push, pull, condition, do a lot of zone 2 conditioning, about 80% zone 2 conditioning, which is about 67% of max heart rate, and the other 20% high intensity work. Eat well, eat a diet that has all 3 macronutrients: carbohydrate, fats, and protein. Also, make sure you get enough electrolytes, drink enough water, sleep 8 hours, boom. And then repeat and do that on end. It's not that actually hard.
So fucking simple.
Yeah,
but no one's selling that because that doesn't sell. That doesn't sell.
No, 100%.
No.
That doesn't sell.
Exactly right.
So that's why people say that, because people would rather take a shortcut in life. Listen, let's be serious. If I said right now I had a pill, right? I had a pill, not a drug pill, but a pill, right? And a red and blue pill. And I said, if you take the red pill, you could get the dream body of life. But it's at a cost of your health and you're only going to live another 30 years. Or you take this other pill and you're going to train hard years on end and it's going to take you 2-3 years, but you're going to get your dream body. Most people choose this.
100%.
It's easier.
They're like, oh, fuck it, why not?
Because they want anything. But in reality, training is like everything. It resembles life because there's no shortcuts in life to get into the career you want or the goals that you want. You've got to work hard. You're gonna have to put in effort. You're gonna have highs. You're gonna have lows. I mean, we just had a meeting just before. I won't bring it up, but we had a meeting just before with a former staff member, and it's just like, for me, it's like that's in business. That's not something that was like I enjoyed. But like that's life. You're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs. You just got to deal with it. And for us, we just move forward. Like I was just thinking about this just before. It's like life is ebbs and flows, but it's how you respond to that moment. For us, it's like, okay, it's happened now. We move forward and we don't look back and we just go forward. It's unfortunate things like that happen, but you know, you're learning. It's like I've been doing this for 10 years now, and shit like that, I don't like it, but it happens, and just so be it. And
that's what you got to do sometimes.
Sometimes you got to do that for and then the day they're going to have their opinion, we're going to have our opinion. So be it. Am I happy with how it went down? No, not at all. Like with staff sometimes, like I've had this before, but so be it. But yeah, we're still learning in business. Like we're still, we're not perfect like anyone else, but that's so be it. But I don't know, it just resembles, I was just thinking about this before, it resembles everything we talk about with life. As you have your ups, you're going to have your downs, but how you respond to it, And for me, it's like I'm still learning about it. And my thing is, like anything, I'm pretty headstrong, and it's like, well, at the end of the day, if you have to be that way, and you've got to take a certain stand in life, so people don't push you around, that's so be it. But that's same as training as well. You can take a lot of training with that as well. You got to train hard, you got to work hard, and you got to put in the time and effort. There's no shortcuts to what you want. But people always want the shortcut. I just kind of, what I've realized about, especially the fitness industry, a lot about shortcuts, doing the quick fix. Come on, 6-week challenges and shit like that.
It's just get fast results and don't worry about anything involving your body. Don't worry about do keto, you'll fuck your system up. It's all right. Don't worry about actually fueling your body effectively. That's all right. Yeah, but it's just how people it's just how everything is. It's always quick.
Same with fucking speed, power development. It's like all of a sudden let's get you faster in fucking 6 weeks and shit like that. But it's like, bro, just there's no rush for these things. And you know what's fucked? At the junior level, they're looking for it. It's like, bro, as a junior, it doesn't matter if you get faster in 6 weeks or 3 years. It's all about long-term goal.
There's some fucking shit in terms of junior training that we've seen. It's especially at the TAC Cup level. Look, we don't need to talk too much about it on here, but the stuff that they do and the stuff that they program, and they expect people to get better off of that. But even just the way. They're just kids at the end of the day. All you need is 3 days of training, and the way we've sort of set it up, you come, into your off season. You're mentally fucked. We've got people that finish their seasons, they're cooked. 4 weeks, they just need a break, all that sort of stuff. In your off season, get qualities that they need. So full range of motion, get them a bit stronger, get them, as Woody said, more general shit. You get stuff that don't get in season. Think of in season acceleration work, in season velocity work. Think of jumps, throws, plyos, stuff that don't get in season because everyone's like, oh, we need to do just lifting, but then it's just we'll lift them after training because of this and all sort of stuff. It's just fuck the way everyone manages it. So what we can do is give them, as what he said, fill the buckets with stuff they need. Pre-season, similar sort of things. You might hold back a bit on the strength work in terms of volume, lower the volume a little bit, make sure that games are high priority, recovery is a high priority, get some stuff that they might not get in season in the warm-ups, like I said, plyos, throws, all sort of stuff.
Yeah, bro.
And then in season, maintain a low volume, high intensity work for strength, and then you might fill your buckets where you need. If people need to, get more strength laterally and need to get stronger in terms of a frontal plane of a transverse plane, they need to get stronger up body wise. You might do a little more up body accessories, fill the buckets with what they need, especially in season for coaches out there as well. If you can, make sure you give your athletes, and you boys will be able to talk more about than me, acceleration work, velocity work, give them exposure to that. Absolutely. Because at the top level, it's not as much. And even at the amateur level, you've seen it, it's not as much in terms of the way they program it. It's just an afterthought. People don't know about it as well, and people don't understand that. So it's just they'll just program a fucking, 10 sets of 100 sprints, with a 1 minute rest or 2 minutes. You know what I mean? It's just fucking stupid. Yeah. But that's how they do it. And that's what we are trying, as coaches, what we are trying to stamp out and what we want to educate people on is the fact that all this shit in terms of at the junior level, senior level needs to change. And hopefully we're the guys for the job. But
yeah, I love that.
I reckon, because you obviously do a good job of it in terms of junior level, and you've got young people in here now that know, they understand proper training, understand proper nutrition. Yes. They ask you for help. They know what's going on. Woody's had people where it's understand proper training, understand proper nutrition. Yes. They know how to, okay, I've got to do the warm-ups for this. So this is going to help this. If I sleep like shit and I come in here, obviously we work on a sort of RPE sort of basis as well, but it's some days you're going to have to hit certain weights. So coming from obviously more of a strength sport background as well, it's the fucking sport is the gym. Whereas here, the gym is a means of an end to fucking other shit as well.
Absolutely.
So it's like, that's where, as coaches, don't get caught, as what he was saying, you were saying, don't get caught up in the nitty gritty. It's just like, give them a bit of everything, but it's also just like being smart. Like, give them stuff that they don't get at the level. And yeah.
Do you know, you brought a good point about, so if you look at speed and power adaptation, so if you, and I'll quickly go on a tangent on this part.
That's right.
But think about, so we talk about people, like when people want to see results, right?
Yes.
Here's the issue when it comes to speed and power development. Now, when you look for most athletes, the holy grail of athletic development is, and the two qualities we want to develop for athletes, and this is a non-strength sport athlete, what Brick was talking about, how he's talking about string sports, but non-strength sport athletes, field, court-based sport, multi-directional field, court-based sport athletes, their holy grail for us is we use strength to develop, maximize power and speed. Power, speed, and elasticity and stiffness, they're the three qualities we want, right? And if everything being equal, which is not, I know, but everything being equal, the better athletes are more powerful and they're faster and they're more elastic, they've got more stiffness up the chain. So when you look at power and speed as general, they're both heavily neurological qualities. And what I mean by that is they're heavily dependent on the nervous system ability to recruit and train high threshold fast twitch movement units during that specific motor skill, being jumping, landing, springing, change direction, whatever it is, right? So when you look at it, because you can't see it, it's not like muscular adaptation. What I mean by that is when you lift weights and you lift weights consistently and you eat right, enough carbohydrate and protein, you're going to see good benefit in terms of your body composition change. That means increased lean mass, increased muscle hypertrophy, increased size of muscle, decreased body fat over it, right? So you can actually see it. When it comes to power and speed, because it's neurological, you can't see it unless you're testing it. And that's where you can see it. So if you're not assessing, you're guessing, which is a good little quote. But if you're, when you do speed, and this is the testing when you're doing your flying 10s, 20-meter sprint, counter movement jump, static jump, anything elastic, like 10 jump test for us, you can actually see improvement. The athlete can see improvement. This is why it's important to keep them going. But when it comes to speed and power, which are the two most important, and because speed and power, it's about alactic stimulation, that pathway, it's about maximum effort, high intensity, longer rest periods. Athletes don't get their heart rate up as much like conditioning, and with conditioning, you're in that lactic pathway, the aerobic pathway. Most athletes feel like, oh, okay, well, fuck, if I'm only doing a few reps and I'm doing maximum effort, I don't feel tired. Well, this is where you have to educate them and say, okay, well, it's about stimulating, it's not annihilating. It's not about getting your heart rate up. It's about stimulating your central nervous system to maximize fast twitch fiber recruitment. It's not about making them tired. If you're doing a jump higher speed based session, you should feel just as fresh at the end as you do at the start. Now, when it comes to maximal strength work, you probably won't feel that steady because it's heavy neural, heavy muscle load. But at the same time, if it's speed work or plyo work, you're stimulating. So you should feel just as fresh at the end as you are at the start. And this is where people don't understand it, but they can't see it because it's the nervous system. This is what I was talking about. If you could see someone's nervous system, how efficient their nervous system is, a lot of people would change the way they train. But because when it comes to strength training, people like that feeling of, okay, I've really tested, I'm getting tired, I'm getting my sweat on, I can see results, and I still change it. That's not to say if you do power speed training, you're not going to see any hypertrophy adaptation, you're not going to see any fat loss, because a really good way to actually expend calories is pure-based speed work and jumps and pliers. Why? It's because even though it's high velocity, low force, it's a shitload of muscle recruitment. You're expending a shitload of calories as well. So, yeah, you will see it, but this is where you got to educate them when you do any power speed work, and they're the two most important adaptations. We want the holy grail for the multi-directional field court-based sport athlete. You have to educate them. You're not going to feel as tired. It's not conditioning. It's about maximal effort, short duration, high-quality training, like everything we believe in. And this is where you need to educate them on it, because so many athletes come in, and we get it all the time, where they feel like they're going to be flogged. Where with us, we're the opposite. Brick, you talked about before, 10, hundreds, whatever the fuck it is. We're about quality. We're about maximising that adaptation. I'm really big these days on, and I don't really like saying it, but it's like minimal effective dose, where I kind of use
that's fucking perfect.
Optimal effective dose. But you know what the best thing is? Yeah. Ask yourself the question: what's the least amount of work you can give someone by getting the results you want? And the reason why I say that is because most coaches, what they do is they flog people, and they go over the recovery capacity of the athlete. If athletes don't have the recovery capacity, they can't adapt, they can't get stronger, they can't get at that adaptation.
Absolutely.
That's why I want to bring that up, because power and speed, it's a neurological quality, and unfortunately we can't see the nervous system of the athlete, and that's a big one. So we're talking about quick fixes, there's a perfect example of these two most important adaptations. If you can understand about the maximal effort, high intensity, long rest period, not about getting heart rate, stimulating your central nervous system, if you can understand that, you're halfway there. But this is the issue with this industry. It's not about that. It's about what you look like. You got to remember, a bodybuilder, if you look at a bodybuilder, right, Bodybuilders' nervous system isn't that efficient. Why? Because they train compounds, but they also train a shitload of isolation. They maximize each muscle group. The goal isn't performance. The goal is aesthetics. So their nervous system wouldn't be as efficient as someone like an Olympic lifter or a powerlifter or an athlete who's trained like an athlete. Yeah. And this is why I don't understand in Australia and around the world, or especially in Australia, there's so many athletes who never going to step on stage but train like a bodybuilder, but they play competitive sport at the amateur level, but they train like a bodybuilder. And it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, and think about it, the body works in slings, links, and chains, right?
Correct,
so if you fucking, like, you can isolate the muscle. There's nothing wrong with that. We do that in some instance.
Yep.
But if you don't understand how to integrate it, the actual synchronization of the nervous system and how do we fucking work everything together for a certain pattern ain't going to be there.
Correct.
Do you mean?
Think of minimum effective dose as well, especially for athletes. Why would I give them a ton of shit and they feel, cooked and everything like that when I get them the basic shit and just get them to progress? It's like, it's fucking simple. And like you guys said, minimum effective dose is going to work so well just because it's easy. It's like, why would I give someone 5 sets? I'll give them 2 sets and they're able to progress. I get them one that, for example...
That's such a big thing, isn't it? Everyone's just like more sets,
no one
more
thinks
sets
about
all the
that.
fucking time. Like, it's always like 5 by 5 or fucking, you know what I mean?
Why, this is what I've learned, especially through my coaching. Why would I give people more work when they're able to progress on less work? They feel better. They're still able to progress at the same rate. Whereas I give them more work, more fatigue. It's just like... and after the first exercise, like you might feel, weight cooked, or it's just like hard to train. You obviously want to feel, the goal isn't to get sore, but that might come as a byproduct. So the goal isn't to just like flog your athletes, but also that might come as a result of heavy training and hard training.
Yes.
That's not what we're disputing here. What we're disputing here is the fact that if you can do the smallest amount of shit for the longest amount of time and still progress, that's fucking perfect. And that's what coaches don't do. And that's what coaches never do in this thing. It's like, we're seeing like athletes programs that they'll send to us. It's 4 or 5 sets of 10 of dumb shit. And you know what I mean? It's fucking stupid.
You know what? So many people are fucking... No, that's spot on. So many people are so focused on what muscle soreness I have in comparison to neural fatigue. Like, they're so based on like, okay, how do I feel the next day based on like, how do my muscles feel? Rather than what's your actual energy level? Well, and this is why we fucking monitor our jumps here. We always do 3 jump counter movement tests before they start, because it's like your apparent speed and your nervous system, right? If that's fatigued and that's dropping off, that's a lot worse. It's gonna be a lot more detrimental to your performance than feeling a little bit sore. Right now, it all comes hand in hand. You can't have one or the other. Do you know what I mean? But so many people will focus on okay, does my muscle feel sore or not? You know what I mean? And, that's going to dictate how well I perform. Where it's like, really, if you're not looking at the nervous system, how that's recovering, especially that it takes longer, it's going to be detrimental.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, that's
fair. Yeah, well, that's right. It's true. I think that the hardest thing is, I think we go back to shortcuts. People want to, like, at the end of the day, people just want the shortcut. They want to know. They think there's a secret. There's no secret. I keep bringing this back because it's so important to understand. There is no secret. And what we know about training, we've known for a fucking 100 years. Milo, he carried a calf, progressive overload. We've known what we've known. You know what's funny?
The Greeks.
The Greeks. What I've always said about training, there's no paper that's ever going to come out to change. In my opinion, this is just in my opinion, there'll be no scientific paper to come out in the next fucking 50 years, in my opinion, or that hasn't come out in the last 20 years, that's changed the core philosophies behind training. Compound, multi-joint, multi-planet, ground-based movements, training full kinetic chain, training progressively, overload progressively, individualise the training, sleep well for 7-8 hours, high quality sleep, eat a carbohydrate, protein, fat, all 3 macronutrients, have enough water in your day, try and stay away from stress. Try to stay away from stress as much as you can. If you can't, unfortunately, because work gives you stress sometimes, try and stay away from stress and do the fundamentals savagely well. That's it. I mean, fuck, man. And then people say, oh, then you're making your job too simplistic. I'm actually not, because coaching, that side might be simplistic, doing the basics, but people who can implement it and do it savagely well, time and time again, not many people can actually do that. Because what people do is they neglect quality for quantity. And the minute you do that, you've lost. Because the minute you've neglected quality, and I've seen this time and time again, stimulus is important. But I'll tell you what's even more stimulus is important, coaching's everything. If I've realised anything about this job, and it's really good that you know the X's and O's, but when I was a kid, I used to think science was everything, right? And my company's name is Sports Science Consulting. But I've actually, everything about what I do now is communicating and building relationships with people. That's all it is. And if you can get a good foundation down of knowledge and then apply it with coaching, and this is why I say to people, you don't need a sports science degree, in my opinion. I just reckon what you do need is you need a
100%.
fundamental some sort of fundamental background in knowledge. Learn like someone under like us, learn off us, or someone like a Jay Ellis. Learn under them for 4 years or 3 years, pay for them, and fuck, mate, you'll be a better coach than 99% of fucking graduates and masters. Because science is great, and no doubt, but what's the point if you can't apply it? Applying it's everything. What's theoretical isn't always practical. This is how you learn is by coaching. And I think the biggest thing is most people, and this is how I started Woodford, was just go out there and just apply it. And what works in the real world, what doesn't. And that's what I found. And then at the end, you know what the main thing is for everyone out there is results. If you can get results time and time again, and you work so how I put it is we work within a framework of Woodford training systems, but remember, or methods are many, principles are few. Still apply principles. So we work within a framework, and then we individualize it, and we use whatever training system works to get us that person results. At the end of the day, if you're stuck within, this is why you got to be principle-based, not methods-based. If you're stuck in methods, and there's a certain exercise or certain movement that method doesn't agree with, well, then you're doing a disservice to your client. At the end of the day, it's all about the client and what their results they need. So if you can use a principles-based approach, not a methods-based approach, but you work within a framework, what we believe in, and you get results, that's the main thing. We use anything to get results in a safe, effective manner. But at the end of the day, for everyone out there, I'll keep saying this, there's no shortcuts. But that's in life though, really, isn't it? That's in life. There's no shortcuts in life. If you want to get somewhere in life, you got to work hard and you got to put in effort. And if you don't put in effort, you're going to go nowhere. And my whole career has been that. I put in, especially at this, I put in a lot of effort because I love this. But then other parts of my life I don't, and they fuck up, and I have to put a lot of effort in them to get better at them. Doesn't make sense though. But if I look at it that way, I find my life so interesting, people's life so interesting, because I look at one part of my life and it's like, I put so much effort into this part, and the other parts of my life, and everyone can work on something. It's like, well, fuck, I don't want to put any effort into it because it's like I don't like it, because it might be a bit of hardship, might be talking about personal problems that I don't want to talk about. You and I have talked about this before, or go on the psych and talking about it.
Yep.
But I have to do it because it makes me better. And that's a perfect example in training. You might not like training, but in terms of health, well-being, and your results that you want, you have to put in effort. There's no way around it. There's nothing you can say. There's no quick fix. There's no, and I keep saying this because it's so true, because we as humans, and if you look at the 1970s, the body type of 1970s, people to now, it's completely changed because people got used to a convenient lifestyle. It's all convenient.
100%.
And we don't teach these. And it's true. The kids, the next generation coming through, haven't put up with any hardships because we made it so easy. Like, we're giving them safe spaces at uni. You know, and even today, another example. I don't want to bring it up again, but it's a perfect example. It's not something that you and Kieran, we like doing. It's not. That's not something I like. Like, even thinking about it now, it affects me. But at the same time, we have to do it. Sometimes you have to do things you don't like. And it goes to training as well. It might be like, fuck, today I've got 3 sets of 5. I don't want to do it, but sometimes you just got to show up. It's showing up better than not showing up. Just show up. And sometimes, you just got to show up, and it might not go your way. That's life. If you can deal with hardships and how you respond to hardships, and you can bounce back, and it might be little things like, I had a shit training week. That's okay. The next week, I'm going to focus on having a good training week. And you bounce back from it. It's just very important. Resiliency. What is it like? Being resilient, but also sticking to what your focus is, and not being derailed by it. And I think if you can do that, and you're focused, and you'll get results. But the biggest thing is just having a plan, sticking the plan, and working hard. And go.
They're just understanding perfection doesn't exist. Like
true.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you know what? Like, it's always important to aim and strive for more and be better. Like, that's no doubt. And always you want to get there. But if you have a shit fucking day, like, you don't beat yourself up. Don't spend another 3 days thinking about that day. You have a shit week, like you didn't go to training. Don't beat yourself up thinking about it, because then you're just looking in the past. Looking in the past, right? You got to move forward. Like, yes, we all want to strive for more, be better. But if it's like you said, like, you know what? It's like, life's not perfect. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, why not just keep fucking moving forward, like you said?
Yeah, true.
I think having people in your corner with that sort of stuff, like Adam was talking about last episode, and obviously, like, you boys have got all of us, like, it's all, especially with that, it's just like, you want people in your corner to help you. And if it's like, if you're struggling, that sort of stuff, obviously there's going to be people that help you with that sort of stuff. With training as well, it's some people view of it as utmost important. Some people don't. And it's like sort of how you view things. You might view things outside of the gym as lower importance as opposed to training, which is more than fine, depending on like, you know, if training gives you monetary value and everything like that. But I think the main thing is that training should be fun. And we don't train it like you boys train some athletes at the elite level. A lot of our athletes are sub-elite, and that's more than fine. So training should be fun. It should be enjoyable. That's what I've been preaching a lot in my personal like.
Well, you're not going to be when you say fun, it's not going to be circus tricks.
No. But like you want fun.
When you say fun, I think people conjure up the idea of doing stupid shit in the gym because that's what I think. Because you know what's funny? I still remember. If you think about it, your job as a coach. What is your job as a coach, Jeremy?
I want people to adhere to a program. I want people to get results. I want them to enjoy what they do.
All right, results. Shut
the fuck up.
Right? I reckon I can understand enjoyment. I see what you're saying, but at the end of the day, for me, I couldn't give a fuck if they enjoy it because they got results.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
Look, I'm talking about fun in terms of adherence.
Yeah, I know, but you're using. I think the fun because when you think fun, people think gimmicks. But no, I see what you're saying because if they're enjoying it, they're going to adhere.
Yeah,
you know, another principle which you bring up, which is fair. The most important part of any fucking program is adherence. I don't give a fuck how good your program or adherence and implementation. So I got this off Boyle. A poor program implemented well is better than a good program implemented poorly. Implementation is everything. This is why it doesn't matter how good your program is, but it doesn't mean shit unless you coach it well. Yeah. And this is why it's always so funny when you see X's and O's and these kids write this perfect program. Like, okay, now implement it with fucking a group of fucking 15, 20 athletes or an athlete you've never met before.
Good luck.
Go do it and do it at 100% with high quality coaching, progressive, regressive lateralization. And what cues are you going to use? This is where the coaching, you know what's funny? Coaching is such an art and you only get better by coaching. There's nothing else. No textbook can teach you, right? Nothing. And this is where it's always funny when you look at rehab coaches like osteos, physios, myos, and all this stuff, and they try and go in the gym and they're lost because they've never coached before, they've never cued coach, or they've never been in the fucking gym before. You know? But coaching is everything.
That's so funny because like you look at fucking the interns when they first come in and they like, you know, they write like a decent fucking program. Then we're like, okay, coach it. And then all of a sudden they're fucking sitting there shy. Like I can't hear half the shit they're saying and they don't even know what to cue. I'm like, but like, or do they demonstrate to them? Like they don't even know. And then you said, imagine if it was a new person. So imagine you're starting out as a coach. You need to get new clients. You know, you don't go up to your new client and say, all right, let's do a squat now. You need to fucking chat to them. You know, say hi, introduce yourself. That shit people can't actually fucking do.
But also if you're not, and this is another thing, but if you,
that's a very good point,
people always talk about extrovert, introvert, right? You don't have to be an extrovert to fucking be a good coach because Brick's not an introvert. Brick started off
a lot better now.
Yeah, a lot better now. But what I'm trying to say is you don't have to. People always go, "Oh, I'm not like you." I said, but that's fine. I just an extrovert. That's just who I am. But you don't have to be. You can be a good introvert. Like Andy is doing really good work. And
Killing it.
Talking about
100%.
So I think that whole thing of you have to be an extrovert is bullshit. But saying that though, you got to. You know what you've got to do? You've actually got to care for fucking people.
Absolutely.
You've got to care about results.
That's what he does. Like Andy cares for people. He enjoys being here. He fucking puts in a lot of effort.
Bro.
Shout out to him. Like, you know about it.
On South Melbourne. So he's one of the most introverted people at South Melbourne. Opens up his voice. He does not hesitate. You would think this guy like 6 months ago would like open up his, like you see him once he gets in his zone, he's a different person. And I love that. And you're right. You don't have to be introvert or extrovert. You just have to know when you do your job, how the fuck do I do it?
You can always like be a bit more chill outside of like coaching. But in coaching, you're building a character. You're building someone that you want to, you want to be yourself, obviously, but it's just an extension of yourself.
Yes.
And like fucking Woody is the same off camera as he is on camera, and that's why
Donnie,
and that's why people love you as well. So it's like you're not fucking fake. You're not fake. I don't know about me. I'm all right. But
You're real. You're real.
No, but you know what I mean? Like just
100%.
You're the same person, but just built up to like it might be 10 or something like that. And that's what we try and preach with coaching as well. It's like be yourself and also just enjoy what we do, but also with new coaches that come in, it's like the start of it. It's just they're lost because they don't know what the fuck's going on. And it's just like you need to build rapport with the clients and even just like showing them through a squat. It's like a lot of words. People just say a lot of words, like me now saying a lot of words. People say a lot of words and they just think, yeah, fuck, you know, I say a lot of cues for squat rather than just like being effective, say less, let them do the skill and then go from there. And then what Andy's doing really well is just building rapport with clients. I can see him all the time talking to people, enjoying what he's doing here.
Why do you think so many trainers who are terrible at their job do so well? Because they got good personalities and people like them. Like, do you know what's so funny about our career? You can people can think you're a good coach if you're a good bloke. It's like, oh, he's a good bloke, he's a good coach, we like him. I'm like, what the fuck? He's not good at his job. But I mean, that's our industry. If you're likable and you've got a good personality, people come to you. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap it up because we're gonna have to wrap it up. But
that was fire, man. Like, that was just simple to the point. One question turned into a fucking 45-minute chat.
Let's bring more of that next
I love
next
that,
time.
though.
Yeah,
that's great.
good.
To the point. So many facts in this, it's not even funny. 45 minutes, you can take away so many things. Things to apply as a coach, things to apply as an athlete, things to take away just in general. Like, really good. Loved it. Guys, again, follow us on fucking Instagram. Woodford SSC, okay?
5 stars.
Go to Spotify, download. I don't care if you have premium or not.
For fuck's sake.
Don't tell me about your subscription, all right? Listen, ask Woodford there. Then on YouTube, Christian Woodford. CHRIS. There we go. Good. Woodford. WOODFORD, okay? Good. Don't forget it.
Can we wrap up? Can we just say one thing before it ends?
The boss.
Two things. One, there's no fucking secrets in training.
No.
Number two, there's no such thing as sport-specific training. If we can just clear that up, I'll be sweet. I can retire a helping man.
Real that.
If with training, if I go through those two things in my career, it's just like every time I see something sport-specific pop up, I'm like, Jesus Christ. It makes no sense. I've always been like, how does it make any sense? Even before I was like an undergrad, I was like, what the fuck? Saying though, everyone goes through periods in their career when they're like sports specific. Like I have to admit, I bought a parachute once, which they're useless. They're stupid.
Yeah, mate.
I bought a parachute and I bought a fast speed ladder. And I actually think that fast feet get you quicker.
They don't. Fast, mate.
You're not applying enough force in the ground, especially with acceleration where ground contact times are longer. But I'm not going to go into that. So there we go.
Done. Episode 7. Dune.
Boom.